Hello there, beautiful souls. I have a story for you today. A tale of love and loss, joy and sorrow. Once upon a time, in a world much like ours, there lived a person. Let's call them Jamie. Jamie led a life that was comfortably ordinary, a life filled with the usual hustle and bustle, the routine of work, and the quiet moments of solitude. Their existence was as predictable as the changing seasons, and they were content, or so they thought. Then, one day, out of the blue, like a gust of wind that carries the scent of a distant flower, in came Alex. Alex was a breath of fresh air in Jamie's routine life. They met at a small cafe, a chance encounter that was as unexpected as the first drop of rain on a sunny day. Alex was everything Jamie didn't know they needed. Their conversations were like two melodies blending into a harmonious duet. They talked about everything and nothing at all. As days turned into weeks, the bond between our protagonist and Alex grew stronger. It was like watching a garden in springtime, each day bringing forth new blossoms and scents, each moment more enchanting than the last. They found themselves entwined in each other's lives, their interests overlapping like a beautiful Venn diagram of shared passions. They reveled in the beauty of the mundane, finding joy in the simplest of things. Coffee became a ritual, brewing together in the early morning, the aroma of the beans mingling with their laughter. They danced in the kitchen while cooking dinner, their movements mirroring each other's, creating a harmonious choreography of love. Books became another shared interest. They read to each other, their voices carrying stories of distant lands and brave heroes, their imaginations taking flight together. They discovered they both had a penchant for poetry, their favorite being the romantic verses of John Keats. Then came their most memorable date. It was a crisp autumn evening. They decided to take a walk in the park, the leaves crunching under their feet, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. It was there, under the canopy of the golden leaves, that they realized they were in love. It wasn't a grand declaration, rather a quiet understanding. A look exchanged, a hand held a little tighter, a silence that spoke volumes. Their love wasn't just about grand gestures or passionate declarations. It was found in the quiet moments, in shared smiles, in exchanged glances, in the rhythm of their heartbeats, syncing when they held each other close. It was found in the way Alex's eyes lit up when our protagonist walked into a room. It was found in the way our protagonist's laughter echoed Alex's, creating a symphony of bliss. Our protagonist found in Alex a partner, a confidant, a lover. They found love. It was a love that was as comforting as a warm blanket on a cold winter's night, as exhilarating as a roller coaster ride, as serene as a sunrise. It was a love that blossomed, that grew, that enveloped them, bright and beautiful and full of promise. But life as we know it is full of surprises, and it had one in store for our protagonist. Enter Sam. A beacon of light in our protagonist's life, Sam was a breath of fresh air, a friend who was always there. Their paths crossed in the most unexpected of circumstances, in a coffee shop on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, both reaching out to grab the last blueberry muffin. A friendly argument ensued, and before they knew it, they were seated at a corner table, sharing not just the muffin, but also stories, laughter, and dreams. As the weeks rolled into months, the bond between them grew stronger. Their friendship was the kind you'd read about in novels, deep, meaningful, and full of life. They found solace in each other's company, a safe haven in a world that often seemed too chaotic. Slowly, the protagonist began to realize that their feelings for Sam were changing. It was no longer just friendship. There was an undeniable pull, a magnetic attraction that was impossible to ignore. The sound of Sam's laughter warmed their heart in a way they couldn't explain, and their absence felt like a void that nothing else could fill. This was love, but not the kind they had known. It was different, yet equally beautiful. Their feelings for the first love still lingered, but this new affection was just as intense, just as real. It was a whirlwind of emotions, a storm they didn't see coming. But with this realization came a pang of guilt. They were torn between two loves, both equally compelling and equally meaningful. It was a predicament they never thought they'd find themselves in. They were in love with two people who had touched their heart in ways they never thought possible. And so, our protagonist found themselves in a dilemma, loving two people at the same time. The heart, they say, is a fragile thing, and our protagonist was about to learn it the hard way. In the game of love, juggling two hearts is a tricky business. It was like walking a tightrope with a chasm of heartbreak yawning beneath. Our protagonist found themselves caught in a whirlwind, struggling to balance affections for Alex and Sam. Alex, the first love, was a beacon of comfort and familiarity, a lighthouse in the stormy seas of life. Sam, the second love, was a breath of fresh air, a burst of spontaneity and adventure. Both relationships were unique, both were beautiful, but both were doomed to crumble under the weight of divided affections. As time passed, the strain began to show. The protagonist's divided attention led to misunderstandings and confusion. The sweet whispers of love soon turned into the harsh echoes of arguments. The once bright and cheerful conversations with Alex dimmed and were replaced by a silence that was deafening in its emptiness. The exciting escapades with Sam lost their charm and instead became a source of stress and guilt. The protagonist's heart ached with the weight of their decisions. They tried to mend the cracks, to repair the relationships, but the damage was too deep. One by one, the bonds snapped. First, it was Alex. The beacon of comfort and familiarity flickered and died out, leaving our protagonist in the dark. The loss was devastating, the emptiness profound. Then it was Sam. The breath of fresh air turned into a whirlwind, sweeping away the remnants of their relationship. The protagonist was left standing in the wreckage of their love life, heart in pieces, alone. Caught in the crossfire of their own decisions, our protagonist had lost both loves. Their heart, once filled with affection for two, was now a barren landscape. In trying to hold on to both, our protagonist ended up losing both. In the aftermath of heartbreak, our protagonist was left with a deep sense of loss and regret. They found themselves in a maze of emotions, grappling with the guilt of loving two people and losing both. The echoes of their laughter, the memories of shared dreams, every little thing reminded them of what once was and what could never be again. In the solitude that followed, they embarked on a journey of self-discovery. They spent endless nights reflecting on their actions, questioning their choices, and learning to forgive themselves. They learned that love isn't about possession, but about appreciation. It isn't about being selfish, but about giving. It isn't about winning, but about being brave enough to risk your heart. They realized that in their pursuit of love, they had lost themselves. They had become a stranger to their own heart, playing a role that was never meant for them. They had loved not one, but two people, only to lose them both. And in that loss, they found a lesson that would stay with them forever. They learned that love is not a game to be won, but a journey to be experienced. They learned that love is not about quantity, but about quality. They learned that love is not about finding the right person, but about being the right person. They learned that love is a commitment, a promise to be there for someone, even when the going gets tough. They learned that love, in all its beauty, can sometimes be a double-edged sword. It can heal and it can hurt. It can make you feel alive and it can make you feel empty. It can bring you the greatest joy and it can bring you the deepest sorrow. And so they learned that love in all its beauty can sometimes be a double-edged sword. Thank you for being with me throughout this story. It's a personal one shared by my dear friend Ethan, who wanted to share his journey with all of you. If you liked this story, do subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Remember, every heart has a story and every story has a lesson. Until next time, take care.